Infinity Mijinion stage was a gigantic pain in the ass for a couple reasons. Luckily, unlike Rainy Turtler, this stage does not have nearly as many stupid backtracking for only one Reploid infected per visit. Rather, the bigger problem in this stage is actually pulling off the infection all while you're being harassed by Illumina and the constantly spawning birds. The first footage that you're seeing here is very sloppy, mostly because I'm testing out which nightmares actually will follow me to Reploids, and it turns out, again, there's only a couple, like 2 in this stage, but luckily these Reploids are a lot more accessible this time around. There is actually a camera lock after you beat the first mini-boss, so you have to lead this Reploid all the way back to the only other one at the beginning of the stage without actually triggering the mid-boss fight, which luckily isn't particularly hard in terms of not triggering the mid-boss fight. It is hard in constantly dodging the lasers and the birds, and eventually I die pretty soon after I infect that Reploid. Now here comes the reason why I wanted Meteor Rain for this stage. Meteor Rain actually stun locks Illumina like a Maverick weakness, but I also forgot that on Extreme mode, birds constantly spawn in this fight. This does not happen on normal mode, so this fight was a huge pain regardless. The number one reason why these birds are the absolute bane of my existence is because since this stage is a huge endurance test when it comes to everything constantly shooting at you, you have to preserve as much health as you can possibly preserve in order to actually get these nightmares all the way back to where you need them to be. There's 2 freebies right here, right in front of the second mini-boss fight, but the one earlier in the stage, the one that you need the Blade Armor or Nightmare Medal to access, is a lot harder, and is basically the main challenge of this stage. So like I said earlier, you basically have to preserve as much health as you possibly can. The issue here is that during the Illumina mini-boss fight, the birds can spawn from either the left or the right side. If they spawn on the right side, that's really good for you, because then the birds are just going to all immediately spawn into the meteor rain that you're shooting out. If you're on the left side, though, you're kind of screwed. There were probably better ways to approach this stage, like bringing in something that could kill it faster, like Yamar option, but this is just how it worked out. I thought that meteor rain would be what I needed, but in reality, it really wasn't. And then after that, it's a matter of getting this guy all the way over here while dealing with the fact that there's 2 other shooter nightmares protecting this guy, and I only just barely got him grabbed before I game overed. The last Reploid that really poses any problem in this stage is the one in the pit. At first I thought it was going to be super hard and you had to bring the nightmare from all the way over by the second mini-boss, basically all the way over to where the first mini-boss was. Then I decided, hey, I could use this one in the first mini-boss fight, and I tried to do some fancy stuff where I led the nightmare around and kept it alive during the mini-boss fight, but in the end this was just completely pointless because it turns out you can just respawn it. But hey, this looks cool. This one was only really a problem because of me being stupid. It really should not have taken me as long as it did, and of course I died right after I infect it because I think that's going to be a recurring theme in these videos. The rest of the stage is not a problem at all. I was a bit worried that the final Reploid right before the boss door would require another escort, but luckily the devs were, quote, nice and put an infected Reploid right on top of them. So that made my life easier. That's it for the normal path. I went ahead and defeated Infinity Mijinion and am going to be showing this footage to you all because I want to brag that I'm an epic gamer that can beat Infinity Mijinion Buster only. But after this is going on to the Nightmare area, which is fortunately actually possible this time around, unlike Reploids, and it's a lot easier than the main part of the stage. I guess it isn't really all that surprising that one of the most painful areas to actually rescue all the Reploids in is one of the easier ones to kill all the Reploids in. Even so, though, it's kind of a trial and error fest because this entire area is just line jumps everywhere over pits, and, well, it took a couple deaths, but it wasn't exactly hard. Hilariously, the only real challenge in getting all these Reploids infected is trying to not hit the other Reploids on your way maneuvering around the nightmares. And besides that, it kind of all just comes together by itself. So enjoy a montage. That's it for this stage, and unlike Reploid, you can actually infect every single Reploid in this stage. So, good job. Next up is Shield Sheldon.